Welcome to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle, LaPorte County's original social media. Sound Off is a public interest forum that encourages your voice to be heard on the topics and issues impacting our local communities. For the next 30 minutes, we invite you to be part of the conversation by calling 219-362-0522. And you can now text your questions to the Liquor Vault on-air line or by email to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is a topic-based program, and we ask that you keep your comments brief, concise, and related to the topic being discussed. The views expressed on Sound Off are those of the hosts or callers and do not represent the opinion of 96.7 The Eagle, Spoon River Media LLC, or the sponsors. The Liquor Vault on-air line is now open for your calls or texts at 219-362-0522. This is Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Hello, friends. Today is Monday, October 11th, and you're listening to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle. My name is Nate Laux, and it's an honor to be your host today. At the end of September, U.S. Steel discharged a significant amount of iron into the waters of Lake Michigan, a body of water that provides drinking water for 7 million Americans. In addition, in 2017, 300 pounds of hexavalent chromium was spilled into Lake Michigan as well. And as a result, many residents now are calling for the state and federal government to better regulate and punish corporations that use Lake Michigan's water. We only have one Lake Michigan, and many residents believe we should do a better job protecting it. So what do you think? Should the government do a better job protecting the Indiana Lakeshore and waters of Lake Michigan? Do you think there should be more environmental regulations in that part of Indiana? What do you think about the recent leaks into Lake Michigan from the steel mills? Give me a call. Shoot me a text. The Liquor Vault on-air line is 219-362-0522. You're welcome to email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com as well. Look forward to hearing from you today. Now, first, it's on this day in history. It was on October 11th, 1975, that a little-known topical comedy sketch show was born. That's right, it's the birthday of Saturday Night Live. In 1974, Johnny Carson requested that NBC stop airing the Tonight Show reruns on the weekend. He wanted to save those reruns for the extra vacation days he was planning to take during the weekdays. So NBC wanted to fill those weekend spots and hired a guy named Lorne Michaels to develop a show. The first cast that Lorne hired was George Coe, Michael O'Donnell, Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, Jane Curtin, Garrett Morris, Lorraine Newman, and Gilda Radner. In the 1989 People article, SNL creator and executive producer Lorne Michaels said that the original performers, often referred to as the not ready for primetime players, all received the same compensation. What was that compensation? The performers all got $750 a show. Everyone lived at the offices at Rockefeller Center, and they were generally much nicer than the places they were living before. I remember asking my dad if I could sleep in the living room on Saturday nights so I could stay up late to watch SNL. Now, some casts have been funnier than others, but any show that can keep America interested and laughing for 46 years is quite the accomplishment. Happy birthday to SNL, and it's time to get to our show. So today we are talking about U.S. Steel discharging a significant amount of iron into the waters of Lake Michigan. It closed the beaches. It got many people's attention as you saw the orangish, debris getting into the water and spreading. And Lake Michigan is a body of water that provides drinking water for 7 million people. And this isn't the first mess. Actually, they had another one just last week. But also, in addition, in 2017, 300 pounds of hexavalent chromium was spilled into Lake Michigan. As a result, many residents call for the state and federal government to better regulate and punish corporations that use Lake Michigan's water. So what do you think? Should there be more environmental regulations for Lake Michigan? Should the state of Indiana do more? Should the federal government do a better job protecting the Indiana Lakeshore and the waters of Lake Michigan? I'd love to hear from you today. 219-362-0522. In front of me here is a letter signed by some local lawmakers here, and it's written to the Honorable Eric Holcomb, Governor, and Bruno Piguet, Commissioner of the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. And in the letter, the request is on behalf of thousands of members and supporters of the undersigned organizations and residents of the undersigned communities, we write to express our alarm and deep disappointment that the citizens of Indiana are forced, yet again, to cope with another major industrial discharge emergency that pollutes our waters and adversely impacts our natural resources, including our drinking water and only national park. Based on the ongoing and chronic nature of industrial water pollution events along the shores of Lake Michigan, and in this case immediately following renewal of a wastewater discharge permit by the state and recent approval of a consent decree by a federal court, it is clear that Indiana's system of water pollution control legislation is broken. And then it goes on to have 4 different demands. We demand that Indiana state leadership immediately commence the following: heighten the scrutiny of vigorous enforcement against chronic polluters, including stiffer monetary penalties. Sometimes these penalties for corporations like this are so minute that, billion-dollar corporations will certainly pay the fine rather than actually fixing the thing that will be more expensive to fix. The second thing is strengthen pollution control and communication requirements in future national pollutant discharge elimination system permit renewals. Thirdly, deepen support for the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, including significantly higher funding so as to retain and attract top quality staff, and empowerment of the department to carry out its statutory duties to control and reduce industrial pollution entering our waterways, and pursue a wide-ranging review of the efficacy of items NPDES permitting process. And this was signed by some local people here, including Dahlia Zygas, Michigan City Common Council member, Ashley Williams, the Executive Director of Just Transition Northwest Indiana, and some other people as well. And so we're getting your opinions on this. What do you think? What did you think when you saw that happening? The Liquor Vault on-air line is open at 219-362-0522. Let's get to our first call of the day. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. I hope your weekend was well. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, we've got plenty of regulations on corporations in America already, but they need to make sure the people in charge of this are making them follow the regulations that we already have and enforcing them. And the people who are appointed to these places, like IDEM, need to find out who appoints them, how the elected that appointed them, where their money comes from.
Yeah.
I feel these corporations aren't being... The fines are excessive to some people, but to some they're not.
Yeah.
IDEM has shown over the years, I don't know what people are aware in this county alone. If you travel the countryside and you see these piles of black stuff piled in fields, that's actually sewage that IDEM's in charge of. So that's sewage near your water wells. Not to mention Lake Michigan must go out to corporations. That waterfront was designed, people came there because they needed ready access to water, and that's where it was. So we need to walk a fine line there. We need to regulate the businesses, yes, to a point. But if you regulate them out of business, then what are you going to do? So we need to look at who these departments are in charge of these areas, who got them appointed there, and who those elected are doing that. Because I think if you, again, follow the money, I think you'll see things that which would shock your mind. Thank you.
A good lesson in general. Follow the money. So we're talking about this. We'd love to get your opinions. The Liquor Vault on-air line is 219-362-0522. Shoot me a text. Give me a call. Send me an email. Soundoff at 967theeagle.com. We're having a conversation today about protecting the Indiana Lakeshore and what you think. We're going to take our first break. Come back here. Hopefully some more calls come in, some texts. I'd love to have this conversation with you. But stay right where you're at. And keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle.
Ben Conowitz here, LaPorte Seamless Gutter, 219-362-9972. Fall is here, and that means leaves and debris for your gutter system. We've got 3 separate types of gutter guard for your home. Leaves and debris come in all shapes and sizes. We don't need a one-size-fits-all for your gutter. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 219-362-9972, or you can visit us on the web, www.lpseamless.com.
Stuck in a job that sucks? Here's another job opportunity from HometownNewsNow.com.
One Pizza in LaPorte at 713 East Lincoln Way is hiring. They have scheduled open interviews Wednesday, October 13th from 2 to 7 p.m. All positions are available and they offer flexible hours. Who doesn't love One Pizza? Now you can work for them. Stop by Wednesday, October 13th from 2 to 7 p.m.
This has been a Jobs Spotlight Extra. Look under Hot Topics at HometownNewsNow.com for job details.
Look at all the things I've collected over the years in here, Dave.
Why, Dad?
So you'll have many things to remember me by, and, I'm sure you can use it all someday.
But, Dad, I can't use all these things.
Yep, and just think, it's all yours someday.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Dad. Is that a bumper I see buried with this stuff?
Oh, hey, yeah, I believe it's your mom's 1976 Pinto. And again, it's going to be yours someday.
Do you have things you don't need or want anymore? Are you tired of seeing things that you thought was a good idea to buy and then turn around and put it away in some corner of your garage? Well, you're in luck. At 96.7 The Eagle, we can help by reading your garage, rummage, estate, or yard sale during Tradio. All you need to do is visit HometownNewsNow.com, click on the Submit tab, and fill out the form, and we'll contact you for the payment. It's that simple. Of course, we do accept debit and credit cards for payment. So listen weekdays at 9:45 for your sale to be read live on 96.7 The Eagle, and check out the listings at HometownNewsNow.com.
This look at the forecast brought to you by M&R Upholstery, your go-to for reupholstery work since 1974. Locally owned and operated, turning your old into new. Commercial and residential with local pickup and delivery at 613 Andrew Avenue in LaPorte.
Michiana weather. Cloudy this afternoon with scattered thunderstorms likely. High of 82. South winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 57. From the Weather Center at HometownNewsNow.com. Right now, 77.
We're waiting to hear from you. Dial or text 362-0522 and let us know what you think. That's 362-0522. Back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
All right, friends, welcome back. My name is Nate Laux, and you're listening to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle. Glad to have you with us today. We're having a conversation about protecting the Indiana Lakeshore and what you think about that. At the end of September, U.S. Steel discharged a significant amount of iron into the waters of Lake Michigan, a body of water that provides drinking water for 7 million people, in addition to other things, obviously. In 2017, 300 pounds of hexavalent chromium was spilled into Lake Michigan. As a result, many residents here locally call for the state and federal government to better regulate and punish corporations that use Lake Michigan's water. So we're asking what you think. Should the government do a better job protecting the Indiana Lakeshore and the waters of Lake Michigan? Maybe they should just do a better job, as the first caller said, enforcing the laws that they have and making sure that there's proper incentive for them to do the right thing. We're getting your opinions on this. 219-362-0522. You can call me, text me, or email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. Let's get to another caller. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for calling. What's your thoughts about protecting the Indiana Lakeshore?
Well, I don't know all the details because I don't remember, but I know a few years back they were worried about those Asian carps that were in the waterways, and they tried to get a tri-state coalition going, and nothing happened. I mean, they fought back against them, and it's all about money. It's all about money and who makes money and who's got the most money. This state is not known for being environmentally friendly. And as you can see, one of the representatives or senators or somebody just resigned because she got tired of fighting to try to get stuff passed.
Yeah, Senator Karen Talley.
So unbalanced. A couple of exampps, too, is there was a owner just recently in the news, and again, don't quote me on exact facts, but that moved some sand and stuff to make a pathway for themselves, and now they're looking at trying to sue them because they're destroying the environment. Those are just a couple of the examples that, it just seems like it's all about money. People have the money, and the corporations are winning, and the environments are not, and the laws are not helping them, and the people in charge don't care. Yeah. They don't care about the environment. Yeah. So that's my thoughts on it. I wish it was different. I wish there was more we could do, But you can only sign so many petitions with nothing happening.
You gotta, exactly. It's got to be on your mind when you vote these kind of things, and hold your legislators accountable. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's hard to do anything when most of that work has to come from the legislative bodies. So
right, and they didn't even do anything about the Asian carp. So there we go.
All right. Well, thanks so much for listening. Thanks for calling. Have a good day. All right, let's get to another caller. Thanks so much for calling. Thanks for listening. What's your thoughts on protecting the Indiana Lakeshore and what's been happening?
Nate, thanks for taking my call, buddy. Hey, permissible, the word permissible. So what we've got just 10 years ago, our hometown hero, Ron Mayer, who was our city council at that time, working at the sanitary district, so he pulls the plug on what was going on there with the illegal dumping of the raw sewage into Trail Creek, which polluted everything along the beachfront. So they've got that mess cleaned up, and they're doing a great job. So it's a matter of it comes down to who's doing it illegally and what's permissible. So when the rains come down and the pumps are being filled faster than what the treatment sewage plant can intake because of the amount of rain, it's permissible to dump the raw sewage. There's just nothing you can do about it. There's no containment. So that has been taken care of thanks to the whistleblowers. So Ron Mears gets 2 thumbs up on that. He did a great job, and they're doing a fantastic job of keeping that clean. But there is permissible levels that are still allowed to be dumped according to how much rain comes down. Now, we work out from Central Beach to NIPSCO. That's one of our workouts, all the way to 11 miles down to U.S. Steel, which is now called Cleveland Cliffs Steel Mill in Burns Harbor. So they have a 50-foot intake of water intake to cool the mills. That's all it does. It's a 50-foot intake diameter pipe, and then it actually comes back out. So 75 feet wide, about 40 inches deep, and we call it the Snake River. It comes out at 92 degrees on the temperature, so it's fun to swim in at 20 below zero in January, February. But the spills that have happened, the hexavalent chromium, I didn't know there was a spill. 2 weeks ago, last week, I didn't know there was a spill. All of us are down there training. We're trying to keep in shape for triathlons, marathons, and our swimming through spring, summer, and fall. And we have no clue. These spills are just only a couple miles up the road, and we're swimming in it. Now, my experience with the hexavalent when I jumped in, I swear to God, I had magnifying glasses on. I'm like, what in God's name's going on? It's a regular day, beautiful water, and you can't tell the difference. And you look in a little pebble, looks like it's the size of a 100-pound boulder, and you jump out of the water, you jump back in, you're like, man, is there something? The boards of IDEM, anybody that expands, any company that expands has to apply under the permitting process, whether it's landfills, a company, anything, anybody that moves any type of chemicals. And my only concern is, what is your backup? What is your backup plan? If this pipe breaks, that well cracks, this pressure breaks, what is your backup? I want to know how you can contain it. That's all I care about. How can you contain it? So accidents do happen. Babies go in their diapers. Adults go in their diapers. Accidents happen. So we just have to see what's permissible, what's allowable, and how we could get it cleaned up. That's all we're, So as far as more government, no, we don't need more government. We just make sure we just have to make and keep a balance and check on if something does happen, how do we get it cleaned up and how do we prevent it? So, all right, my friend, you take care.
Have
Thanks
a good,
a million.
have
Bye-bye.
a good day. Bye-bye. So this is an article from grist.org. On September 2nd, the Environmental Protection Agency placed the U.S. Steel Corporation operation in Portage, Indiana, under a federal consent decree, a court-enforced agreement requiring the plant to improve its environmental impact. The agreement, spurred in part by a 2017 wastewater spill into Lake Michigan, cost the company $1.2 million in fines and cleanup costs. During the 2017 spill, 300 pounds of hexavalent chromium, which can severely irritate the nose, throat, and lungs, were dumped into the water. That's 584 times the amount of substance that the state allows to be discharged. The consent decree also addresses multiple clean water violations dating back to 2013. However, just 24 days after the court approved the deal, the company was once again contaminating the 6th largest freshwater lake in the world, which provides more than 6.6 million people with drinking water. For multiple hours, a rusty orange substance leaked into the lake's water. We're getting your opinions on this. We've got a caller. Let's get to them. What is your hello? Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. What is your thought on protecting the Lakeshore? Yeah.
Hello, Nate.
Hey, you're on, buddy. What's your thoughts?
Okay. Well, I responded here when you said Indiana's not very environmental friendly.
The caller, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you what Indiana is friendly to. Like in Michigan City, on the Lakeshore, making electricity, making millions of jobs, making steel, making the steel for American Bridge to build our bridges all over the country, and making your gasoline, you know, where the refineries are at on Lake Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how they cool that stuff? I helped build that cooling tower in Michigan City because they were trying to do something environmental. Before that cooling tower was built, the water from cooling that generator went out into the lake, and then they brought cool water back in. So they have made some improvements, but now they want to tear all that down. So instead of just always griping about these people got a mind they can't think as far as the end of their nose, find a solution to this. I mean, find a real solution. Don't just say it's no good the way it is, because all the people around here, and still do, they make their living. They bring home some good money when you haven't got any here from them steel mills. And so there's repercussions to that. You know, I mean, everything can't be good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say we're going to go all electric and then Al Gore takes off in his jet and defies the whole purpose. No. See? So you understand where I'm coming from?
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks so much for calling. I appreciate it. I think it's a good argument to be made to say, you know, we've got these other economic benefits from having these corporations. Can we not leverage both, though? Can we not have, you know, lakes for people to enjoy and have corporations that are doing the reasonable thing to protect the resources that they're using? Because they're not their resources. They're our resources, right? Lake Michigan is not owned by the steel mills. It's owned by the people. And so we're getting your opinions on this. We're going to take a really quick break. If you've got an opinion on protecting the Lakeshore, give us a call on the Liquor Vault on-air line, 219-362-0522. Give me a text. We got a couple texts to read when I get back. But keep right where you're at. Stay right here on 96.7 The Eagle.
Change, it never stops. It's part of the American spirit. It's part of industry growth and life. Cannons Automotive feels it's best to embrace change and honor history in the same breath. Soon, Condon and Chris will become the second location for Cannons Automotive, honoring over 50 years of service in our community. From the corner of Rose and Monroe Streets to our current location on Boyd Boulevard, Condon and Chris will add their experience and passion in the automotive repair industry to Cannons Automotive.
You might know MD Wise is a provider of health insurance, and we are. But we feel called to do way more than that. Like arranging free rides for those who don't have another way to get to the doctor, the dentist, or the drugstore. We also know healthy food is important, so we arrange free rides to the grocery and farmer's market too. These are just a few of our extra services, because caring for Hoosiers beyond insurance could be the wisest thing we do. mdwise.org/more.
Get ready for fall fun at Garwood Orchards all September and all October. You don't want to miss out on everything we have going on. You pick apples, pumpkins, there's sunflowers, a variety of vegetables, tomatoes, and peppers. Plus at our market, freshly made donuts, a full line of produce and jams and jellies. There's fresh apple cider that we make right on the farm and our own hand-dipped caramel apples. You don't want to miss making a trip to Garwood's on 50 South near Pinola, just west of LaPorte. GarwoodOrchard.com.
96.7 The Eagle. I'm Dennis Adele, reminding you to join not only me, but Stan Maddox, Joe Happel, and Wayne Mahar for the Morning Mayhem weekdays, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m. Now, we've got jokes, we've got music, we've got information. Of course, we got news and weather. And, of course, we want you. It's the Morning Mayhem, weekdays, Monday through Friday, starting at 6 a.m. right here on your home for country music variety, 96.7 The Eagle.
Thank you for tuning in to Sound Off. You can now text or email your questions directly to the studio. Call or text 362-0522 or email your questions to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is Sound Off.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking about protecting the Indiana Lakeshore, what you think after some of the spills that have happened, and, should the government do a better job regulating that? Should the state or federal government get more involved? Should they just enforce the laws that they have? A couple texts for those of you that are texting us. These people need to quit taking us to court trying to privatize the beach. Indiana should take care of the Lakeshore, not the government. It can't help itself. Here's another one. Happy late birthday. Well, thank you. My birthday was yesterday. I'm now 40. I'm old. You still should be paddled. All right. Tougher laws on pollution. Hope infrastructure money is not used. Steel mills got money for the mess up and cleanup. They caused it. Let them fix it. All right. A couple more. Yes, they should enforce the laws more unless you want kids or grandkids with 3 eyes or some goofy mutation. All right. Let's get to another caller. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for calling. What's your thoughts on protecting the Indiana Lakeshore?
I think every person who lives in this area believes in a regulated, or I'm going to say regulated, in a nominal amount of protection for our lakefront and for the lakes. I mean, people enjoy them. They're a huge, brings a lot of people in. There's a lot of people who come here just to spend time on the lakes, whether it's even on the weekend or they have a lake house here up through Michigan. Mm-hmm. The simple fact is, and this is a fact, this is not an opinion, every time the government tries to regulate things, they end up hurting the very people that they try to help. And what I'm getting at is, in the 70s, the government came in and they started regulating automobiles, exhaust, and they killed the automobile industry so bad, the American automobile industry, that we went overseas and started producing things in different places, and people lost jobs. And we went through a pretty bad period there until the mid-'90s when they started coming back here. Detroit started coming up, and then we know what happened in the last 4 or 5 years where these companies started building plants here. These emission issues with these cars have become so bad, and I'll make my point with the lake. The emission issues became so bad that you can't buy a diesel pickup truck for less than $100,000 new. And you have so many emission issues with them that it's hard to keep them running properly. So when we're addressing these issues on the lakes, just remember, just because some environmentalists, and I'm talking an extreme environmentalist, I'm not talking about the nominal people like you and me who agree we shouldn't be doing, there's things that are just common sense you just don't do. Mm-hmm. But you got to be careful to, you allow these extreme environmentalists to come in and they start regulating things. They don't realize, as Bill was saying earlier, they don't realize the ramifications of their actions, how they affect your jobs, how they affect the steel production and gas production with the fracking and all that. So there's a lot of truth being said on both sides, and then there's some lies being said on both sides, and we need to start figuring out where the facts are, and we have to be careful because we have to realize and come to an understanding of what we want. We want jobs, we want production, or we want to rely on China and everyone else. So when it comes down to the time of us needing something, we don't have it because we've regulated them right out of the industry. Mm-hmm. That's what I have to say.
All right, thanks so much, buddy. Have a good day. All right, so a couple more texts. We're talking about the Lakeshore, Indiana Lakeshore. Should we have more environmental protections? Should they maybe just, uphold the protections that they have? Maybe we don't need more regulations, because that does happen sometimes. You look at the laws, and just because the law is written doesn't mean that it's being enforced. And so should it be enforced? Or maybe the law should be enforced, and we should think about some of the penalties, these kind of things. And we're getting your opinion on that. 219-362-0522. You can call me or text me. A couple more texts that we've received. What is being done to the individuals that actually did the wastewater? Operators are licensed by the state of Indiana. I'm not sure what is being done. Here's another one. U.S. Steel quickly explained that the spill was due to a missed delivery by a supplier. It follows that they knew operating without that delivery would result in the spill. As long as it costs them almost nothing to ignore responsibility, they will. It must cost them not the government. And it's interesting that you say that. It must cost them and not the government, because I kind of look over to what we have here in the city of LaPorte. We have a project that we've been working on for 20 plus years, maybe even getting closer to 30. I don't know, Newport Landing. And, I talked to somebody that obviously worked in that area and, told me, Nate, you don't even want to know what we put in the ground there. And I don't know, but I do know that it's cost the government a lot of money to clean it up. It's cost you and I a lot of money to clean that up so that we can have development in an area that should not be as dirty as it is. But because of corporations, obviously a corporation that employed thousands of people in LaPorte, that gave people lives, didn't maybe do the right thing. The government is paying for it, not the corporations. The government is paying for it. And so I think it's a good point to say whatever is done should cost the corporations. Now, the other people that has also said, I think rightly, it should be the right regulation, right? Nobody should want regulations for the sake of regulations. If the regulation's not meeting the stated goal, what's the point of it, right? Just to be over-regulated doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help the corporation. It doesn't help the government, because you're going to have more people needed to oversee these regulations, and it certainly doesn't help the consumer. So what is the right level of regulation, I think, is a question for many different areas of the government. So we've got a couple of minutes left. If you'd like to call, 219-362-0522, talk about the Indiana Lakeshore, protecting it. I've been talking about at the end of September, U.S. Steel discharged a significant amount of iron into the waters of Lake Michigan, a body of water that provides drinking water for almost 7 million people. So this isn't just a body of water. This is a body of water that people literally need to live. In addition, in 2017, 300 pounds of hexavalent chromium was spilled into Lake Michigan from the steel mill. As a result, many residents are calling for the state and federal government to better regulate and punish corporations that use Lake Michigan's water. And so we've been asking you what you think. Should the government do a better job protecting the Indiana Lakeshore, or should it just stay out of it? And again, as some other people have said through texts and these kind of things, as one texter said, you build the world right now, obviously a world that you want to enjoy. But I think more about building the world that my kids want to enjoy, that maybe if I'm lucky enough to have grandkids one day, that my grandkids get to enjoy. And so the decisions that are made now aren't just for us. They're not just to impact me. Hopefully they will be done with the foresight and the wisdom that we build a better world for our kids and grandkids and future generations, so that they don't have to pick up the mess that we've left, that we've caused. So here's another text that just came in. Did not know this. Again, as one caller said, I didn't even know about the other spills that have happened, because sometimes, let's be honest, they're not put in the media as well as they should. Some texter just said, this is the third spill. One spill was cyanide. I did not know that, and I can't verify it right now, but taking you at your word, that's not a good spill, I'm sure. So, again, these are the questions that we ask our legislators. These are the questions we ask our officials, not to be combative, but because we want to create the best place we can to live, to enjoy, to work, a place where corporations and businesses get to grow, but also people get to live healthy and get to enjoy the environment and the people around them. It's a delicate balance, but I think one that can be met. So, hey, I want to thank you so much for listening to the show today. I want to thank you for having this conversation with us about the Indiana Lakeshore and what's happening there. If you ever have an idea for a topic for Sound Off, please do let me know. You can email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. I'd be happy to entertain any topic you want to have, other than, is Dennis Siddell going to be president one day? Because the answer to that is, undoubtedly yes. So that's not even a conversation we need to have. So again, I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. Those of you listening on the podcast, thank you for podcasting with us. Subscribe, share, let us know you're there. And keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle. Have a great day.
Thank you for joining us and voicing your opinion on this edition of